Всем привет! Welcome back to our tutorials about the Russian cases. Today we're working with the instrumental case. If this is the very first time you're watching my tutorials, please go back to the beginning of the playlist. That's also linked in the description, and work your way to this tutorial. This way it will make a lot more sense. And if you have been with me for a while, well, let's continue with our cases.
If you like it, please click like. If it's useful, drop a line. If you love it, hit subscribe. Лайк не подпишись и комментарий напиши.
Okay, today we are working with the instrumental case. And again, we have the three basic contexts. There will be more tutorials explaining more contexts for each case. But for now, let's just figure out the first three. So the first context is after the preposition with, after the preposition s, which means with as in company with somebody, doing something together. So once you have that in English, the word that follows is going to be in the instrumental case. For example, here we have example, Я люблю играть с братом. I love playing with my brother. And so with brother or with my brother, Russians don't use my that much when it comes to family members because it's kind of implied that you're playing with your brother, talking with your sister, and so on. So with my brother, so after that, the brother or my brother is going to be in the instrumental case. Second one, Я люблю говорить с сестрой. I love talking with my sister. So here again, with my sister, my sister is going to be in the instrumental case. So сестрой is sister in the instrumental case. Then our next context is when you're using something as an instrument or a tool. And here it can be as direct as I'm hitting the nail with a hammer, which is a very clear use of the tool. And it can be a little bit more kind of like, philosophical, like sometimes in Russian they say like I'm working with my head, literally saying that the head is my tool for completing the work, meaning I work, I don't do the physical labor, I complete my work by using my cognitive skills. So here, that's what I have. So I have я ем ложкой, I'm eating with a spoon, meaning I'm using the spoon as an instrument. And in English, you do say with, but this is the context where you do not need the preposition s. So s really means with, like in the company of, or like together with. So when you say I'm eating with a spoon, if it's just the instrument, then it doesn't need any prepositions at all. You just put the word itself into the instrumental case. Now, if you say я ем с ложкой, I'm eating with a spoon by using the preposition s in Russian, that will be something like, like Beauty and the Beast, where all of the silverware is actually alive. So it's like I'm eating and the spoon right next to me is eating too. So that would be с ложкой. But without it, just ложкой, that means I'm using the spoon as the instrument. And the second example I already explained, я думаю головой. So I'm thinking with my head, meaning I use my cognitive powers to complete the thinking. So I'm using my head as a tool for thinking. Я думаю головой. Then the third context is kind of like one of these, like, what is going on with the Russian language? Because it's very interesting that it really takes a very simple kind of like context where, let's say, somebody is somebody. For instance, I can say, I am professor. You are student. He is a doctor. My brother is a programmer. So, and when we say it in the present tense, this context is for nominative. Because, like I am professor. Who is professor? I am. Who am I? Professor. So both of these words will be the subject of a sentence and nominative. I mean, grammatically, it's a little bit more complex than that, but for us, we'll just say these are both subjects and they're both nominative. And the tricky thing with the instrumental case, and that's where this context comes to play, is that when you change the tense of this verb, so not I am a professor, but let's say you change it to the past or the future, I will be a professor or I was a professor, then that word that you use to kind of like explain who you are or who your brother is, the second noun changes into the instrumental case. So for example, here we have John был бизнесменом. John was a businessman. He's not anymore because it's the past tense. So if he is businessman now, the word businessman will be the subject of a sentence and will be nominative. John, businessman. However, as soon as we switch to past or future, that second noun changes into instrumental. John был бизнесменом. Mary будет студенткой. Mary will be a student. Again, if she's a student right now, it's nominative. Was or will be a student, it's gonna switch to the instrumental case. So, or for instance, like you can say, this woman is my wife. Nominative. This woman will be my wife. Instrumental. This woman was my wife. Also instrumental. I know it's tricky, but that's why we're going through it. I hope it's being helpful. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, so we're stopping here. As you can see, we're kind of like picking up the pace, and I really hope it's starting to make more sense. Like it's starting to click more and more and more with the cases. So next time we're working through our last case, the prepositional case, and again, work through the context for the prepositional case ahead of time to hit the ground running. And also, in comments to this video that you're watching, put your examples in English with the words in caps, the words that will be in the instrumental case once you translate these sentences into Russian. You don't have to translate, especially if you're a beginner, just stick to English for now. We're trying to understand it at the conceptual level. Okay, next video is going to be about our last case, the prepositional case. Пока-пока.
If you like it, please click like. If it's useful,